So I'm going to show you how I set up my sheet here. So what I do is, the first time I'm a travel nurse, so the first time I go to a contract, I like to make a template, and I'll like line the lines up and all that with like either a ruler or like something flat, usually just like the edge of another piece of paper. But if I'm on the fly and I don't have any yet, I can make this in like literally 30 seconds or so. So I do a line down the middle, flip it over and do the same. And then I fold it back on itself like this, leaving like a couple inches here, inch and a half. And then I fold that little edge over like this. Then I put my lines in it. So I'll put a line here. And then I use this crease to make a straight line here. I'll get to that in a second. Then right here, this is my systems. So I just write an N for neuro, an R for respiratory, C for cardiac, P for pain, G for GI/GU, and S for skin. And I'm an ICU nurse, so I just have two halves of this, and you can split it up, draw more lines and separate it as need be. Right here, I put the room number. I do a little box like that and put the room number. Right here, I make a box and I put their code status. Here I put their first and last name. Up here I put their age. Right here I put their diet. Here I put consults, so like cardiology, PTOT, SLP, and I can put like their service, so maybe they're on like trauma service. I put that all right here. Right here I put contact precautions, so like let's say they're MRSA or whatever, I'll put that here. Then in report, like neuro is going to be like extremity movement, how they move, their mentation, their mentation, pupils, like any abnormals in neuro check, and how they move, mentation, pupils, neuro check. That's basically it for neuro. Any neuro abnormals, like spinal check, whatever. And then if they're totally neuro intact, like there's nothing wrong whatsoever, I'll just put like a 0 with a slash through it. Here, what's their O2 requirements and respiratory here? Vent settings, lung sounds, what's like their secretions, orally or in the lungs. I also do their temperature there. Some people do temperature under cardiac, but I do their temperature. And like, have there been any issues? Have there been any respiratory issues? Have they had DSATs? In cardiac, I'll do their like heart rate, heart rhythm, and their blood pressure. I'll talk about goals, like if they have a blood pressure goal, sometimes, especially with like a bleed, they'll want them less than 160 systolic, less than 140 systolic. There's other times when they want their blood pressure higher, so I'll mention that here. How are their pulses? What's their access? Peripheral, central line, any edema. So that's cardiac. Pain, pretty self-explanatory. GI/GU, what's their urine output been? When's their last bowel movement? Are they on any tube feeding? Like what's the rate, what's the formula? And then like if they're taking pills, how do they take them? Like one at a time, with applesauce, what have you. How's their appetite been? You can talk about kidney function there if you want. Skin, pretty self-explanatory as well. If they're in restraints, I'll put that there. If they have like a preventative Mepalexon, or if they have, or some places called an optofoam. So that's where I get all my report. Then on the back, I draw one more line down the middle, hot dog style. Make me hungry. And I'll do like a fishbone for labs. Both patients get it. So that's how you draw that. This is sodium. This is potassium. I switch it up a little bit from the traditional, and I put calcium here. And I put phosphorus here. This is BUN, and this is creat. This is glucose. This is hemoglobin, hematocrit, platelets, and white cells. Then I'll put like other lab values here, like if they have like a positive urine drug screen, if they had a positive urinalysis, like they have UTI, or like other electrolytes. Put that here. I draw a box and I put allergies here. And then I put an A here for admission, what happened on admission. Halfway down I put H for history. So what's their admit story and what's their medical history? Then here, I didn't mention, but right here, I'll put psychosocial. So like, do they have any family members that have been visiting? Like who's their health proxy or who's their DPOA? If they have any procedures coming up, like they have a CT in the morning or they have surgery in the morning, I'll put that down here. Then this is something I really like to do, and this helps me so much. Throughout the day, if I need anything from the doctor, I put it on this, you just fold this little flap over, and that goes here. Doctor needs right here. So then every time I call the doctor, all I have to do is pull my sheet out, flip this little tab over, and I have my list here of like everything I want to bring up. And then I can look at it at the end of the shift, and I have a reference when I'm giving a report of what we did with the doctor. So it's really nice, write everything down there. Then lastly, I write down all my meds. So you're like, how are you going to fit 12 hours into this space? What I do is I start with a line across, and then I split it into 6. So I do I'm day shift, so I do 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And then I just write all my AM meds here. If I have something that's on an odd hour, so let's say I have methylprednisone, due at 11. I'll write it under 10. Because if I'm looking at my sheet, I'd rather look at it and think it's supposed to be early and then figure out that I actually have more time to do it than to look at it and then end up being late. And I'll just put an @ sign at 11. So I'll just annotate that it's on an odd hour. And another thing I do, I like to use a multicolored pen when I have one. And blue is meds. Green is tasks, like labs, like if you have to draw labs, or collect a UA, or pull a Foley. Then black, I just use for all this structure and basically doing all my report stuff. And then red, I don't use that very often, but if I have something that I'm just I really want it to stick out, I'll do it in red. I don't know, a stat lab or just something that you really want to stick out, or I'll just use it to highlight something significant that happened to my sheet. So we'll just write significant. And that helps too. So any structure you can put into your day is going to give you more freedom. As soon as you write something down, I'm cruising around, I dumped my Foley, but I didn't get to go to the chart. I could just throw on here, UOP, urine output, 325 mils. And I always have my sheet with me. I make it a habit of checking it at least every hour. And then like as soon as I'm done, like once I chart that, I can just cross it off. So I know it's done. When I do meds, so let's say they have aspirin, let's say metoprolol, and what the heck, like multivitamin. Let's say he took the aspirin and the metoprolol, but he refused the multivitamin. When I'm done with that, I cross out the meds he took, and I put a box around the ones that he didn't want, or the ones I didn't give. Let's say like Colace was ordered, but I didn't give it. Let's say Colace was ordered, didn't give it. I'll just put a box around it, so then I can remember that I never gave that. And it just really helps organize your day. So I know that'll be helpful for you. And whatever questions you have, just reach out.